protesters breached an area of the Capitol that has been sealed off for construction for a few months, and it was also sealed off because as we prepare for the inauguration, it was on the side of the Capitol building where the inauguration will take place. Somehow they got into Statuary Hall, which connects both chambers of the Capitol. That is when Mike Pence was escorted out of the Capitol, out of the House chamber, and the chamber was put on lockdown. As I say, members of the press were evacuated or asked to secure in place while protesters were secured and prevented from breaching the House chamber. I'm not sure how they got into the Senate chamber, but all this took place between 2:30 and 3 o'clock Eastern time.
Bernie Bennett is my guest. He is a reporter covering the protest/violence in Washington, D.C. Bernie, there was some skirmishes last night. I would have thought that would have put the Capitol Police, the Metro Police, on notice that they needed to have larger presence for today.
I have to tell you, Larry, I don't think anyone expected this to go this way. I covered the rally that took place in front of the White House today, where President Trump was. The president addressed the crowd at 11 this morning, well, closer to noon, actually, and his sons addressed somewhere between 9 and 10, and everything was peaceful and calm despite what had happened last night. So I think that there was an extended presence of security here. I couldn't park my car where I usually park it. I had to take the Metro today because those areas were cordoned off, and I didn't want to interfere with whatever it was that police were doing to protect the campus grounds. I'm still not sure, and I don't know if anyone is sure exactly how they found this particular part of the Capitol that was unoccupied. But I saw footage of Capitol Police showing up as soon as they possibly could once that door was breached. And they were contained to the degree as they could be in Statuary Hall, but police had two efforts, to contain the protesters coming in and to protect those of us who are already here. And in the effort to protect those of us who are already here, it looks like some of these people got into place, whoever they may be, got into places where they weren't supposed to.
Bernie,
and again, yes.
I was going to say, Bernie, I've been watching a lot of CNN and MSNBC, and suddenly they no longer use the term mostly peaceful. My understanding is there were hundreds of thousands of people there. By any definition, it was mostly peaceful.
Let me tell you, I've covered about 8 or 10 marches in Washington in the past almost 30 years, and I've seen demonstrations where there were more people, but never people so loud. People were very loud and vocal, but none of it was threatening. All of it was in support of the president and the efforts that the president is making to make sure that the election is counted and considered fairly. And so, again, somewhere in the middle of the afternoon, something changed. And I think that things escalated once police got involved. I actually got a message from a friend of mine who has a friend in D.C. police, and he got a message from that friend saying there are fights breaking out and we are being mobilized to take care of it. Now, that was probably 1:30 this afternoon. I hadn't heard anything else from anyone else about anything like that, so I didn't follow it up because you never can tell the validity of a source like that. But apparently where he was, where this police officer was, it's now given credence. But again, I have not heard anyone take credit for any of this. So,
Bernie, I saw a photograph of somebody who apparently breached Nancy Pelosi's office, sat in her chair, and kind of kicked back with a smile. Do you know anything about that guy and how he got into her office?
I've seen the same footage, and I don't see any connection to it. I'm not sure if police are willing to let people know the routes by which people manage to do these things or take these actions, because I wanted to make sure that these routes are all secure. I spoke to another colleague who was sheltered in place in Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy's office with the Minority Leader. Other members of Congress, but certainly members of the media, because they could be sure that was a location. And because of concerns about who was where and when, there's a lot of information that hasn't come forth about how people got into those areas. I saw footage of someone holding on to a ledge in the Senate, jumping into the Senate chamber. Again, I have no idea how that happened. The police on the Capitol are very vigilant and very good at what they do. And I think the concern was to protect those of us who are already in place and making sure, I suppose, that the people who breached could be collected in one place and dealt with.
Bernie Bennett is a reporter for Salem covering what's going on in Washington, D.C. Bernie, Donald Trump sent out, I think, 2 tweets Joe Biden has given a very forceful speech demanding that Trump come out and tell the supporters to, quote, stop the violence, close quote. Since Joe Biden gave that speech, has Trump said anything, done anything?
Well, the message that President Trump sent out a tweet that was just a normal tweet, and then he sent out a video tweet from the lawn of the White House. Now, he reported that previously before Mr. Biden went on the air live. So the notion was that Mr. Trump had, without the prompting of the Democratic candidate for the presidency, went ahead and put that forth anyway, and it was released after Mr. Biden's speech, I think because the media was going to give room to the live announcement by former Vice President Biden, and then in response to that, since they had the tape anyway, aired the tape of the president doing exactly what it was that Mr. Biden suggested he do. Tell people he made his comments about the election and the validity of the election, but asked people to go home and be safe.
Bernie, real quickly, are they going to resume the count today?
No. From what I understand, nothing will happen here until we can get a sense of we're secure and what will happen next.
Got it. Bernie Bennett, Salem Radio. Thank you so much, Bernie, for checking in with us. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Larry. God bless.
Got it.